your life.
Hello and a warm welcome. I'm DANIYAH IRFAN, Holistic Nutrition Coach. And today evening, I have brought to you a very interesting topic on the gut-brain axis. But before that, let me tell you what I have been doing. I'm a holistic nutrition coach, and I transform lives and lifestyle disorders by handholding through your journey and creating happiness and a change in reversing your lifestyle disorder. So coming to today's topic, it is about gut and the brain. Now this topic has been widely discussed over many forums. But yeah, I would just like to throw a small little light on what is the connection between the gut and the brain and how your food affects your mood. Okay, so let's get started. Let me tell you first that what is actually the gut, what comprises of the gut. The gut is at the opening of your mouth up to the second opening, that is the anus. So all the organs that comprise of starting from the mouth to the esophagus and stomach, intestine, and large and small intestines, and the anus. So there is the food that we eat transverses such a vast journey before from the time it is eaten to the time it is excreted. And this is the largest system where the digestion, the assimilation, absorption, and utilization of nutrients is taking place. So that's the importance of the gut. And now let us talk about this little romance which we always discuss about the gut and the brain. So this story starts, before even you were born, while you were in the embryo stage, and your organs were being developed. That was a time when your brain was developed and your other organs were developing. So during that development, what has happened is there has been this connection that has been created from the brain to the gut. Now, how does this connection happen? So actually, it's quite a vast, chemical, maybe not a chemical, but a physiological explanation. But yeah, to be short and precise about what is happening is that there is one nerve called the vagus nerve. That is one nerve which starts from the CNS, that is the central nervous system, and it runs all the way down to the digestive system, and where it comes and just envelopes the entire digestive system into a network of more nerves. Okay, so if you see now, there is this the brain and the gut which is being connected. There is a deep connection just because of this vagus nerve. Now this vagus nerve is carrying transmissions from the brain to the gut. At the same time, it is also making sure that the absorptive material which have come out in the bloodstream are reaching the brain, and the signals are reaching the brain. So this is the explanation in brief about how the gut and brain are connected and why this romance keeps going on. Okay, so apart from this, the gut also houses trillions of microbiomes. Okay, the gut microbiota, which you must have heard about very frequently. So this is something which is individual to each and every person. I may have a different gut microbiota, you have a different one, and everybody has a different type of microbiota. Why? Because of the type of food that we eat, the type of demographics which we stay in. Okay, so what is happening is that the microbiome is helping in the release of the release and the functioning of many hormones and many mood elevators and much more of these enzymes. So this is the role of what the microbiome, the gut microbiome is doing in the body. So all in all, if we see the brain, which is connected to the gut through the vagus nerve, the gut has the microbiome, which are responsible for creating the enzymes and the hormones, which in turn are circulated in the brain, in the bloodstream, and which go into the brain. Now, so this is the gut-brain axis. This is how every single day the signals are being sent from the brain to the gut and gut to the brain. So this cycle is very integral to what kind of a person, what kind of food a person eats, and what kind of a mental state that person is. So let's go on. After understanding this bit of the connection between the gut brain and the microbiome and the vagus nerve and all the system around the GIT, that is a gastrointestinal tract. Now, what is happening when a person is upset? See, it is all about, when we say about the food and mood connection, what is it that is so peculiar about it? Why do we always need to talk about good foods or comfort foods or foods that are mood elevators or foods that bring joy? So a lot of this science and emotions are connected with food, and food is that one thing which is our go-to. For every human being, food is the cornerstone of every emotion, whether you're happy, sad, angry, whichever way. It's when we are happy, we celebrate with food, and when there is some kind of a sad occasion in the family also, it is commemorated with food, right? So that's how the food is connected with the mood. Now, when a person is depressed, or a person who is constantly anxious, person who is constantly in a state of sadness, and has got a lot of little problems surrounding their life. So what is happening is, if the mood is upset, okay, normally you will see is that people eat the comfort foods, or most of the time the comfort foods are the refined foods. Okay. With this, what is happening? What else is happening when the mood is upset? There is the concentration of the person is disrupted. Okay. Their immunity is compromised. The gut microbiome is disturbed. Okay. Protective layer of the gut is compromised, because there is a small little layer around the gut which helps in the permeability of the nutrients into the blood. So that protective layer is compromised, disturbed. Harmful metabolites, they reach the brain. And what happens after the harmful metabolites are reaching the brain? There is inflammation and imbalance of the brain circuits. And that's what, again, it leads to anxiety, depression, mood is upset, and the entire cycle keeps continuing. So if we just understand why a person who is depressed or anxious is consuming these foods, is consuming these refined foods, is because their thoughts are running at a very high speed. When a person is anxious, every single minute there is some different thoughts that are going on in their mind. Now, with that thought, the energy consumed is very high with the brain. And if a person is constantly utilizing so much of energy, what they need to do is they need an immediate source of energy, and that is got only from simple foods or refined foods. And that is how they start developing into eating these foods that are comfortable for them, because they give them instant gratification and instant energy. Now, but the foods, these are high in sugars, and these sugary foods are very detrimental to the growth of the good bacteria. So the good bacteria, I mean, we will be talking about all these good bacteria, probiotics, prebiotics in the various sessions, because now this is the first of the sessions in the coming few sessions about digestive system and gut health. So about prebiotics, probiotics, gut microbiome, all these things will be dealt in detail in the subsequent weeks. So right now we just need to understand that the good microflora is disturbed with just the intake of sugary and refined foods. Now, the the good bacteria, they thrive more on complex carbohydrates. They grow more on complex carbohydrates, and that's why when a person is consuming just sugary foods, their entire gut is compromised, and the release of serotonin is also compromised. Now, serotonin, you may have heard that it is most talked about everywhere around social media, everywhere. What is serotonin? It is the mood elevator hormone. Okay, and if you this is a very well known fact that 90% of the serotonin receptors are found in the gut. Okay, so when we are not giving the correct foods in the when we are not consuming correct foods and just sugar foods, what is happening is the level of the serotonin is going down, and because of that the mood is staying, it is not helping to elevate the mood, it is not helping you to keep you happy. On the other hand, if we see now what happens when a person is eating food, again, in a happy condition. Okay, so that is the food mood connection. When the person is happy, what happens? The person will have a better choice of food, the digestion is optimum, good bacteria will multiply because they are consuming. If the choice of food is better, that means there is more consumption of fruits, vegetables, fibrous varieties, and soluble and insoluble, both types of fibers are included in the diet, because the person who is happy will be eating food mindfully. So because of that, the good bacteria will multiply. That means there will be more of prebiotics, and subsequently more probiotics will be developed. And there will be, of course, happy hormones will circulate more, as we spoke about serotonin. So that will be in optimum levels. A feeling of well-being, because the serotonin is high, mood elevator is high. What happens when because of that? There is a feeling of well-being, and brain receptors are happy. So obviously, if the brain receptors are happy, mood elevates and it keeps you happy. So now both places, it is such a cycle. Both the cycles we have seen: the sad person who is consuming food and the happy person who is consuming food. Both the emotions are extreme emotions, but the kind of food that is consumed and the choice of food which is selected is based on it decides on what kind of mental condition the person will be in. So another fact, and another well-known fact, is that now, why is the gut called the second brain? It is called the second brain. You may have heard about it. The gut has the second highest neurotransmitters after the brain. So trillions of neurotransmitters around the gut, and that is the reason why we always relate to the gut as a second brain. And also we may have also heard of this one particular saying: when you are nervous, when there is something really going on in your mind, what phrase do we normally use? We say, I am getting butterflies in my stomach. Now, if you're nervous, why would you get butterflies in your stomach, right? So this is a very basis of understanding how the food you eat and how in what kind of mood you are decides on what kind of food you choose, and what kind of nutrients are circulating in your system. So when you have a happy body, a happy mind, with the inclusion of these four hormones, that is dopamine, that means you need to have a dose of your happy hormone. So it's a very apt acronym where this dose of happy hormones, that is dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Now these hormones are, they are, one of them, the oxytocin hormone is the love hormone, the dopamine is a reward hormone, serotonin is the feel good factor kind of hormone. So all these, so if you have these levels elevated in your system, your mind is happy, and with that you make happy choices, and your food intake is much better. So that's the basis of taking this connection between the brain and the gut, is that because they are so closely associated and they impact each other on a daily basis. Having said all this, it's not that if once a person's microbiome is adjusted to having simple foods, they cannot get reversed, or they cannot eat better foods and make a healthy choice. Of course, once the healthy choice is made, and once if the person has been made to aware that yes, selection of habitual intake of good foods and fibrous foods and complex carbohydrates will lead to the change in the gut microbiota in very few days of span, in very few span of days, and the person can enjoy much more happier life. So there is something like, I will leave you with this thought, that how can something as basic and natural, okay, as eating, be as potent as the drugs that cost millions of dollars? The answer lies in the bacteria. And about this bacteria, we will be discussing about it very shortly in the coming weeks. So with this, so this is the basis and a very small discussion about how we have connected our brain to our gut and how our food is connected to our mood. So that is all from my side, and don't forget to join us on the 108 days holistic nutrition program at www.holisticnutritionworks.com/Dania Irfan. You can join us there and follow us on all these platforms, and we'll see you on the other side. And so I'll sign off for today. Have a happy evening. Thank you.